Cricbuzz chatter at the end of day 4 of the final of this World Test Championship, but we can now say with a fair degree of certainty at the end of day 3 of this World Test Championship final, because we're using every minute that we can of the reserve day, which was day 6. So let's just call it day 3 for convenience. Simon Doull is alongside us. He's had the time of his life sitting in his balcony watching the rain come down. Simon, how much rain do you want?
That's about it, Harsha. That's all it's been for the last little while. It's really frustrating. It's awful today. It is awful. It's cold, it's wet, it's miserable, and there has not been any likelihood of play all day. And there never was going to be from the time it started to rain this morning and just kept on going. And there's no drying conditions at all. It has been a miserable old English day. It is a little frustrating, but it's also frustrating for the players. It's frustrating for everybody, Harsha. And the one thing, I read so many people on social media saying, well, it should never have been played in England. We've just had 2 beautiful weeks of weather. You cannot control the weather. Why didn't they play it here, or why didn't they play it there? This was decided 8 months, a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago, it was decided that it was going to be played at Lord's. Couldn't play it at Lord's. Now it's in Southampton. It's raining in London anyway. The only other option, I guess, to maybe guarantee some decent weather at this time of year would be the UAE, where the ICC are based, but it's 45 degrees. So then the players might as well there.
So the only place you could play it was in the West Indies, where it's raining, where it rained a fair bit, or up in Darwin, or somewhere up in the north of Australia. Or you don't want to do that. So let's get that away. The good news is that the Raiders saying, and by the way, the guy who mans the Raiders got player of the match so far, in my view, because he or she, whoever it is, has been absolutely spot on. But it's going away by 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish. So even if you get those 3 or 4 hours that you talk about, Simon, if you get an on-time start, and that's what's leading me, and the reason I'm bringing up all this is the other thing that people have been talking about is, it's game's over, it's a draw. And what I want to tell you is, hang on, we've got 196 overs of play left. You've had 140 in the game. Let's assume somewhere along the line, slow over rates, whatever, we lose another 15 overs. Simon, it's safe to say we've got 180 overs of play left in this game. And so we asked Deepu to pull out the numbers and say, what happens in 320 over games in recent times? And what we are discovering is, hang on, there's 134 matches since Jan 2018. Of those 134 matches, 70 have ended in under 320 overs. It's saying that more than half the test matches in this period have ended in under 320 overs. So there's time left in this game. So do not believe that there's no time left. So what I'm going to talk to Simon about henceforth is, in these 180 overs left, Simon, let's pull out our crystal ball. How do you see the teams going ahead with 180 overs left?
Okay, we'll start with the team that's batting at the moment. And if New Zealand were to have a great day tomorrow, let's say they had a great day tomorrow, and in 98 overs, they managed to score 280 to 300 runs. Because I think once they're ahead,
let's work at 300.
If they do get ahead of India at any stage, I think they will be a little more aggressive once they're ahead. If they do get ahead, so let's say they get 180 to 200 runs ahead, they will declare. They will declare at that point, and then try and bowl India out, and maybe have some overs at the back end of that extra day that we've got, the last day in bright sunshine, to try and win the test match. India need to take, in all reality, 8 wickets for probably 60 or 70, which is again possible. It is very, very possible. Once these covers come off again tomorrow, it's been under damp, cold, miserable conditions. If we get some cloudy weather in the morning and an on-start time, an on-time start, there's no reason why, if India bowl well, they can't bowl New Zealand out.
Did you just say on-start time? We
get on-start time.
We all do that. My only concern, and I'm talking from an Indian point of view, is that given that New Zealand have 18 wickets in the bank, New Zealand's got to lose 18 wickets to lose the game. India have got to lose 10. So the shorter the game, the more it was always likely to favor the side batting second, because they've still got wickets in the bank. 18 wickets for India to take. Is there enough time to take 8 wickets, put up a target, take another 10 wickets. And that is why what Simon said, for India to come into this game to try and win it outright, you've got to get New Zealand out quickly tomorrow. Then put up the runs and hope to get another 10. So New Zealand's got to lose 18 wickets in this game, which to me seems a little unlikely. But you talked about making the push. At what point will New Zealand start making that push? Because they don't want to make the push too early and lose wickets. So my feeling is 116 is the first cutoff. New Zealand want to get to that 116 first. How long? About 40 overs, 50 overs to get off?
Yeah, they'll assess it at lunch. I think that would be the key. They'll assess their position at lunch. Now, if they were 2 or 3 down at lunch and only 20, 25 behind, they might decide that that's a decent time to be a little more forceful. But, if New Zealand were all of a sudden 2 down in the first, like happened to India in that next, the second morning of the game, that could play a role in it as well, which, they could lose 2, 3, then all of a sudden shut up shop, and that just elongates the process, doesn't it?
And that's why I thought, if India cannot get wickets early, Simon, India have got to ensure that they're stretching the game as late as possible if you're not getting those early wickets, because that means there's lesser and lesser time for India to try and win the game. So as you can see, Simon, we've been talking about this for a while, which just tells you that so many possibilities still exist in this game. I don't know what you're thinking about, but you've got questions for us, I notice. So we'll take one question which is particularly relevant, and we're taking it because we've got a swing bowler amidst us. Neelav's asking, first of all, Neelav, swinging the ball from the pitch is not easy because the ball swings in the air first. Only in England, sometimes, if you're a wicket keeper, it can be really nasty because the ball starts to dart around at the end. But the second question as well, Simon, maybe actually you can use your fingers. I know you don't have a ball. You can use your fingers to tell us the difference between swinging and seaming it, but which has the bigger impact? And maybe we can talk about it from the point of view of this game.
Yeah, I think one of the keys to swinging the ball and the deception around the ball that's swinging is how late can you actually get it to swing. When we talk about in commentary, and Harsha, you've been there so long as well, we talk about swinging the ball from the hand. So someone who swings it from the hand means it starts straight out of the hand and just keeps swinging. What you want to be is a bowler that actually bowls the ball down the line and then it swings late. And that becomes really dangerous. So swinging late, the ball that's swinging late is far more dangerous than the ball that swings from the hand. And if you take this game, for instance, Colin de Grandon, let's say from a New Zealand point of view, probably swings the ball from the hand. You see it come out, it starts to swing straight away, and it just sort of drifts away from the hand. So slightly easier to play. Kyle Jamieson bowls the ball down the line a little bit more, and then it swings late. Slightly more difficult to play. Trent Boult, when he's at his peak, will bowl the ball down the line and then swing it in late. So that's the difference in being, and I think that's the difference with it being tougher to play when the ball is swinging late than swinging early. What you see when it pitches is it will just continue on. So it's not really swinging off the pitch, it's continuing on. A seam bowler, a Mohammad Shami, for instance, a Jasprit Bumrah, is more hitting the seam and then going one way or the other. Now, all they're trying to do is actually hit the seam of the ball on the pitch. And it will go one way, it will go the other, and they're not overly bothered. And very few in the history of the game have ever been able to tell you this is an off cutter without doing that, or this is a lead cutter without doing that. You're just trying to hit the seam and make it do one thing or the other. So I hope that explains it a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. The great Sir Richard Hadley, who got the ball to go either way, maybe he knew, because we often said he interrogated the batsman. He was always asking questions. There's a theory on swing bowling. Simon, were you about 130, 132? Were you
130s, early 130s.
Yeah. The reason I ask you that is there's a theory that if you bowl too quick, you're not giving the ball enough time to swing. If you're 150 plus, maybe you're not giving the ball enough time to swing, but 150 plus is when it leaves the hand. By the time it reaches the batsman, it's lost a lot of pace. And the science behind the late swing is that by the time it reaches the batsman, it reaches a pace at which it can then swing. So if you've got pace out of the hand, then maybe you can swing it late, which was interesting in you saying that Colin de Grandon swings it early because he's just about 122, 123. The quicker bowlers, the great Dale Steyn, for example, was probably able to swing it late.
Brett Lee as well, very similar. I mean, they would fire it down the line and then it would swing late. and that's when it becomes really dangerous. Much like Dale Steyn, Alan Donald of years gone by as well.
Yeah, there you go. Then we've answered that question for you, and all we've got left for you is to think about what's likely to happen tomorrow. We'll go a little fast forward because I'm going to ask Simon, having known this New Zealand team so well, what he foresees New Zealand's approach is likely to be. Right, Simon, what are New Zealand going to do?
They're going to get through the first hour. That's the key. Ross Taylor's a nervous starter. We know that. Kane Williamson will have to start again. Get through the first hour. If they do that, Williamson and Taylor both score very quickly anyway. They are naturally fast scorers in Test match cricket. So I can see New Zealand, if they get through the first hour, pressing things on. They'd probably like to be 30 runs away, maybe 35 runs away by lunchtime, and then they will reassess at that point in time. If they're in a good position, they'll be more aggressive in that afternoon session. They would love to have a bowl before stumps.
So you're saying about 80 before lunch. That's a decent pace. If India get back, I'm almost certain India will bowl better than they did because they've had enough time now to sit back and see what they did wrong. Maybe Bumrah's got a few overs in his leg, so his rhythm will be maybe a little better. So I'm expecting India to bowl a little better. I think I might have come to fast forward earlier, but I'm not going to give up this option of putting Simon Doull in the hot seat. In the hot spot, yes, of course. In the hot. After all these years, I'm still speaking over the graphic. In the hot spot, Simon, pick a winner, pick a result.
Oh goodness me! I honestly,
I'll lead you on a little bit. I thought at some point late yesterday, this ICC World Feed graphic had India 8 and New Zealand 32. I think at one point, which means they had 60% chance of a draw. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm with you on the fact that I think there's only 2 possible results now. It's New Zealand or it's a draw. And I would go at the moment about a 20% New Zealand and an 80% draw.
Remember too, it's a final. So teams are unlikely to take a chance on trying to win the game till such time as they know they cannot lose it. Because if it's a draw, you still have half a share of the championship.
Absolutely. I mean, half a share of the prize money, half a share of the championship. You can say, look, the rain intervened. It was a fair result in the end, and we're happy to share the trophy. And you know, one way it would be bittersweet, but New Zealand would have their hands finally on an ICC trophy.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. It's been so near and yet so far. We've bridesmaids so often. We'll wait and see if they can be there at the end. We've got 2 days. We've got lots of cricket, and I think we can say with some certainty that this game will progress on the 2 remaining days. And thank God we had that reserve day. Thank you very much to Simon Doull. Tomorrow morning, you draw the curtains and look out, and hopefully you'll see sunshine and no covers.
That would be nice. Let's hope for 2 good days of cricket to finish off this Test Championship final.
Right, there you go. That's what we've had for you today on Cricbuzz Channel. We'll be back, of course, at the end of what we are now going to call Day 4.